Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that I would do the mid-year freakout book tag. That should be the complete title, I think. I had a look at the questions like a month ago. I haven't had a look at them since, so we're just gonna wing it. We're gonna do this casually. First question is the best book that you read so far this year. And for me, I really think I need to go with Against the Loveless World. It is the one I rated the highest on my reading log with the Copile system. Is it my favorite book of the year? I don't know. Maybe. What would it be against? It would be that one or X's and O's or The Final Empire. It's the same three that I mentioned in my quarter update video, so we'll see how many new answers I will actually have. Next question. Number 2. Best sequel that you have read so far this year. I actually haven't read that many sequels at all. I read one series, and that is the Finlay Donovan series. I completed the Kiss Quotient series, but I didn't really enjoy that book. I guess I need to go with the second book in the Finlay Donovan series. Finlay Donovan Knocks Them Dead. It's not my favorite book in the series. My favorite in the Finlay Donovan series so far is the first book. I gave the first book 5 stars, second book 4 stars, and third book 3 stars. So like it's going downhill, but out of those 2 sequels then, I guess the second one is better than the third one. Question 3. New releases you haven't read yet but want to. Yellowface. I started it. I haven't even read one chapter yet, but I've started it and I'm excited to continue with it tonight actually. So Yellowface is the one I'm crazy excited about. Like, it's finally time. Question 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. For this one I have 2 answers. One is He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. It's the sequel to She Who Became the Sun, and it's being released in August, and I'm so freaking excited because I actually really loved She Who Became the Sun. So I'm super duper excited to pick up the sequel once it's released. My second most anticipated release of the upcoming half year and of this year overall is Fragile Threads of Power by W.E. Schwab, which is a new book in the A Darker Shade of Magic universe. It's the 4th book in the series, introducing new characters, but also keeping the old characters within the story. So I'm very, 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 very excited about that. And that one is being released by the end of September. Next question is the biggest disappointment of the year. Although I've had a couple of 1 stars, I think I need to go with For Her Consideration. This was one of the Afterlight books and I was so excited about it because it was such a beautiful addition. I really liked the premise of it, like it taking place in Hollywood and being sapphic. I picked it up instantly. I never do that with my Illumicrate book, but this book I picked up instantly and I was instantly disappointed. It was boring. It did nothing for me. I saw no purpose in the story. There wasn't really any conflict. There wasn't really, the characters weren't interesting. Like, no, it wasn't fun. It wasn't interesting. I felt like it promised so much, or perhaps it was just me. I did expect to be entertained by that book, and I simply wasn't. Question 6. Biggest surprise of the year. I have a couple of ones. Obviously, as I mentioned in my quarter crisis, I have Against the Loveless World, also X's and O's. But a more recent read that I have not yet talked about that much is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. Now, perhaps I shouldn't be that surprised by it, but honestly, I did not know what this book was about. I added it to my wishlist because it has lemon in the title. I have a thing about lemons. Okay, so when I saw the cover, I saw the title, I needed to have it, no matter what the book was about. I understood that it would take place in the Middle East, and that it was a YA with a more serious topic and tone in it. But I actually devoured this book. I thought it was beautiful in so many ways. It's a book about hope in many ways, but it's also such a tragic book because it's about this girl who is planning to run away from her home because of a war that's taking place. The book takes place in Syria and we're following Salama, who in order to save her best friend and the best friend's unborn baby, she is trying to save her family and flee from Syria. And it's a very serious book with a lot of tragic in it. Salama works at a hospital as well. She sees a lot of sorrow, a lot of hurt, and she's doing whatever she can to help her family. And during this time she meets a boy or a young man, and they bond over things and become each other's safety in some way during this very difficult time. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. I'm not surprised that I gave it 4 stars. I think I was surprised by the topics in the book. It was what I expected, but also more, if that makes sense. it was a really good book, and I believe it's a debut novel, and it really does not feel like a debut novel. So that's also a surprise in itself. It's a great book. I highly recommend it, actually. Question 7. New favorite author. I don't have any new favorite authors, but I wrote here that there are authors I'm interested in reading more from now. I just talked about As Long as the Lemon Trees Grows, written by Zulfa Katu. Very interested to see what more she will write in the future. I'm also intrigued to read more by Johnny Sun. He's the writer of Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too. I really liked that graphic novel. It was really cute. S.T. Gibson, the writer of A Diary of Blood. Really beautiful prose, actually. Would love to read more by her. Brennan Sanderson. I've read Elondris by him before, but after reading The Final Empire, I'm so much more excited to get into the Sanderson universe. And then we have Susanna Abulava, the writer of Against the Loveless World. No favorites yet, because I haven't really read that many books by the same authors, but definitely new authors I'm interested in following. The next question is newest fictional crush. I don't really think I get fictional crushes anymore, at least not from books really, unless it's really something special. But I need to say the guy from X's and O's, I think. What was his name even? Was it Trevor? Trent? Something like that? He was great. I loved him a lot. I liked him a lot. Newest favorite character? Kelsier from The Final Empire. Loved him, obsessed with him. He's the coolest. Like, yes. Book that made you cry. I haven't fully bawled because of a book so far this year. There have been books that have made me emotional. One of them is Babel, but I did not cry, I think, when I read that. I don't remember crying to any book. I've gotten emotional from reading Babel and also Things My Son Should Know About the World by Fredrik Backman. But other than that, nah, not yet. A book that made you happy. Multiple books have made me happy, but I need to mention once again The Final Empire and also X's and O's. This is a repeat of my quarter crisis video, but I guess that's a good sign, or it means I read a lot of books I really loved back in the first quarter of the year. The Final Empire was so much more fun than I expected it to be. It was exciting, it was thrilling. I did not know there was a heist plot to the story. So it was a legit fun book to read. I'm super happy with that. And X's and O's was such a surprise for me. I had medium expectations, I can say. But I just had the dorkiest of smiles on my face every time I read the book. And those two books, they made me super duper happy, actually. Next question is favorite book to movie adaptation. What I have is not a movie adaptation, but we do have a TV show adaptation. I think you know what I'm gonna talk about. Daisy Jones and the Six. I actually also loved the second season of Shadow and Bone, but Daisy Jones and the Six was so freaking good. I was a bit hesitant at first. Like the first 2 or so episodes, I felt like it took some time for the series to really get going. But even when I was watching those first couple of episodes, I still kept thinking about the series. And then we got more episodes and I just fell completely 100% in love with the characters, with the story, how they decided to tell the story. I love the music. I played that album Aurora so freaking much. I really started to understand the casting as well as the series went on. I questioned it a bit at first, but as I continued to see everyone's performance in the show, I 100% understood and approved of it. I think the final, I believe, 2 episodes are magical. It was such a great show and I can't wait until I rewatch it because I know I will. Next question. The most beautiful book you've bought. I actually need to show this one. The most beautiful book I bought so far this year is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I picked up the Waterstones edition, which means that it has these gorgeous sprayed edges, stenciled edges with this like typewriter key sort of font happening. It's also like completely yellow. It's signed by the author. Underneath the dust jacket it's completely black, but with the eyes you can perhaps see a bit of foiling and indentation from that. It looks cool AF. The end papers are also really nice. Final question, I think, is books that you really need to read by the end of the year. I'm gonna have a broad answer and say all of the books that are on my these books will self-destruct list, which I believe I posted in either October or November, so I really need to read those. I actually don't want them to self-destruct and to unhaul them without reading them. All of those books, and those include like Daughter of the Moon Goddess, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Factfulness. So obviously all of those. Some other books I might need to read. I want to continue with the series. I want to continue with the Mistborn series. I need to read the second book. I also want to continue with the Greenbone saga. And of course, all my anticipated releases for the second half of the year. And those were all of the questions for the tag. Do I have any other things I would like to add myself? I want to do some reflecting, like a half-year reflection thing, but I think I'm gonna do that in a vlog or something instead. I have really enjoyed making content this half of the year, and I am determined to keep it up. It's sometimes a tad bit of a struggle, but I'm loving this channel and I'm loving my videos and I'm loving all of you, and it's a good time. By the time this video is up, I will have, I guess, celebrated my 3-year anniversary here on BookTube. So if you've been with me for any amount of time throughout that, if you've been here from day one, or if this is your first time seeing my face, thank you so much. It's been a great way for me to explore my creative side in a way I didn't really know I had a creative side. I've never really considered myself to be a creative person, but starting to make videos, getting more into reading, getting into editing, I do feel like I actually can say now that I have a creative side. It actually means a lot to me, and it's a great outlet because I'm not really that creative in many other aspects of my life. I'm very happy I picked up my camera on July 1st, 3 years ago. So thank you so much for clicking on my videos, subscribing, commenting, just being there. It does mean a lot. Thank you so much for watching this video. Good luck with the rest of the year, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes